My name's Natalia, I'm 20, and it was in March last year that I found that I was pregnant, just at the start of lockdown. I can remember the day. It was really, really sunny, and I remember driving to my friend's house, and we were just sitting in her garden and stuff. And I was actually like 2 days, like I should have had my period 2 days prior, so I was a little bit late. So she was just saying, why don't you just take a test? And like there's a test kit like across the road. I was like, go on then, just take a test. But I've taken tests before. I just thought, it's like, do you know what I mean? I sat in her toilet and I've come outside now with the test, and I've given it to her and I said, oh, can you look at it for me? And it comes up with the 2 lines. I felt so sick. I started throwing up, I think. It was a bit of a blur. I think she rang my baby's father and told him and stuff. But my initial reaction was that I just wanted it to go away. Like I couldn't even fathom, like I couldn't comprehend what was happening. I think that night I must have, because he lives quite a couple hours away, must have driven all the way to where he was living. And I don't think we said much, to be honest, at that time. But I think the initial kind of thoughts for both of us was that we weren't going to keep the child. But I know as time went on, and then I was kind of I was talking to different people, different friends, and stuff like that. And I think as time went on, I kind of accepted the idea. I kind of like, I don't know, I kind of, in a weird way, I kind of felt this attachment and this love for my child that I didn't even know. But at the same time, it was like I didn't want to get comfortable with the idea, because like I knew my baby's father was so against me having it and all of that, and it was almost like I was scared to talk and stick up for what I thought. Every time I brought it up, it was like I was always shut down. Everyone would tell me I can't do it, that I'm stupid, that like this is gonna ruin my life. Like all of my friends, I think bar one, were so against it and stuff. So I think I just reached out to the wrong people. I had people in my life that I could have gone to, like my mum. But I chose not to. I was just scared, and you have all this fear inside you that like it's just so scary. So I can't remember. It's just all kind of a blur and you can't really remember dates and times and stuff like that. But I know that I was making these appointments to go into the clinic and to get this abortion. I can't really remember it that well, but the first time I went, I remember I went to the door and I just started bursting into tears, and I actually had my baby's father with me, but he wasn't allowed to come in because of COVID and stuff like that. So that set me off. I just started crying, and they didn't give me the abortion pills that time, so I left. They said like ring back when you want to do another appointment. So obviously I've then rang back. Same thing happened, but he didn't come with me. So I missed another appointment. And then on the third time I went in. I can't really remember the consultation, but all I can remember was quite cold. Like there weren't any emotions really from the nurses, and I remember them just all being masked up and stuff, and it was quite scary. So in the end, because I was in a state the whole time, they said, okay, well, if you want to have this abortion, and you feel more comfortable at home, then we'll give you the pills to take home. So then they gave me the pills to take home. And they just sat in their little, because they gave me it in a massive, because there's quite a few pills you have to take, it's not just one. It's like massive like envelope thing. And it just sat like, I'd carry them with me. It was really weird, I would carry them with me because well, the nurse had to take it that night, obviously I didn't. So I just, yeah, they just stayed with me, and there was quite a few attempts where I wanted, like, not that I wanted, but I was going to take them, but it never sat right with me, I never wanted to take them. So by my last consultation I was about 7 weeks pregnant. In those 3 consultations I was never told about kind of the risks that are emotionally and physically. I wasn't aware of them. I was never offered a scan, so it was never like they actually knew how far along I was. So it's just crazy now that I look back on it, and I just think how I was even able to take those tablets home. I mean, for all they knew, I could have been so far gone that it could have like caused some serious damage. Do you know what I mean? When I brought the tablets first home with me, I was about 7 weeks. I didn't actually know that at the time. It was just kind of like I was kind of lost. I lost track of time, so I didn't actually know how many weeks I was. But those tablets sat with me for about 3 weeks. And there were countless occasions where I would, you know, look at them and say, okay, well, today's going to be the day where I take them. Or the next day I would just put it off and off and off, and like, yeah, it was weird because it was almost like, it was almost like I was prolonging it. I wanted my baby's father to just be like, no, it's all right, we can keep it. But that was, I don't know, it's so sad to say it now, but I was doing anything to kind of please him, and I never thought about my child or I mean, I don't know, I it was countless occasions where he would be like, well, do you know what I mean, if you keep it then I'm not going to stay with you. It sounds so stupid, why I didn't just leave him. But it's fear. You're scared. Do you know what I mean? And not only that, you have so many other views of people just sticking their nose in and giving their opinion. I never asked for their opinions, do you know what I mean? Well, that's what they would do. I'm too young, I'm this, I'm going to ruin this, I'm going to ruin that. Do you know what I mean? It's ruined me now, so it's like, what was it really for? So I was in my friend's garden, I can remember the day. At that point, my baby's father wasn't speaking to me. Remember just almost like a state of panic. That like he was gonna, you know what I mean? He was gonna leave. It sounds so stupid. And I was with my friends in the garden. They were just saying, oh, you're an idiot. Like, duh, just take them, just take them. Remember, it took me like 3 hours to even take these tablets. And there was a water bottle. And like the lid of the water bottle. And they put water in the lid of the, in the lid. And the tablet in the lid just to dissolve it for me because I couldn't physically take it. So, do you know what I mean? My friends are telling me X, Y, and Z. That I should just need to take it, da 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 da. Looking back on it, it's like, I can't believe I listened to them, do you know what I mean? It was almost like I was manipulated into it. I don't know why they didn't stop me. Like, they couldn't see that was hurting. I remember saying so many times, like, don't make me do it, I don't want to do it. Not to just them, but other people as well. So then obviously eventually I had just backed the, whatever it was, dissolved tablet. And then I just, because she's got quite a big garden, I went down to the garden on my own. I was pacing up, down, up, down. I was just speaking to God. It was such a nice day as well. And then after I'd got home, and I was just in my room, I think you had to wait until the next day, and then you have 4 other tablets that you actually have to stick up one by one, like right up there. And I went back to that same girl's house. I went back to that house, and did all, like, one by one in her garden because it was lockdown. And it was that night that the physical aspect of it all started. So I've gone back home now. I've taken 5 tablets now, 1 orally, 4. And I remember it was like I had to wait now and to take another tablet later on that night, but I had to wait till 1 a.m. because it was the timings that I had to take it 5 hours or however many hours it was after. I was just so scared. I felt like so alone during that whole pregnancy, but that was hard. That night was so hard. I remember just saying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I remember, like, I had my laptop on the bed and I was watching Keeping Up with the Kardashians the first season because I was just trying to get my mind off of everything that was happening. I think there's the pill I took then at like 1 a.m. I remember throwing that up down the side of my bed. And then I was worried that it wasn't going, like, do you understand, like, it wasn't working or whatever. And then it was like, I didn't sleep, but it was about, I remember the time, it was like 5 a.m. When it first started happening. It feels like, really, in the grand scheme of things, the physical pain is nothing. It's nothing to do with that, but I know people are going to want to know whether it's painful. Of course it's painful. And then I just remember, yeah, it feels like you're being stabbed in the stomach. And I had to be quiet because my mum was in the house, obviously a sister. I didn't want to wake anyone up. And I remember just kind of somehow, like, getting to the toilet. It's unbearable, the pain. And that's when I passed my baby. And, like, I looked down and I saw him, like, it wasn't like a heavy period. It was like a baby. And, like, I looked down and I just looked up and I can't look anymore. It's not like it just passes out of you as well. It's almost like you have to kind of clench a bit. Like, it's actually, it's a child, it's not, do you know what I mean? Like, a bit of blood. I must have flushed the toilet. I passed my baby into the toilet. Flushed, I didn't know what I was doing, and I just remember just falling to my knees. and just everything going so blurry. I've gone into my bedroom, I've thrown up again. I'm taking all of these codeines, but they're just coming up. And then I just laid in my bed, and I was just bleeding through the mattress, and I just laid there for about 3 days on my own. Not wanting to speak to anyone. Yeah, having just all alone, being on my own. Just trying my hardest not to think about what was happening. So after I threw up the pill later on at night at 1 a.m, the one that I took at 1 a.m, I must have rang the clinic and left a voicemail and said, look, I've taken this last pill, but I don't know whether it's going to work because I threw it straight back up. I've taken it, thrown it straight back up. And then I switched my phone off for a few days. And when I switched it back on, there were so many voicemails and stuff, so I rang them back, and the nurse or whoever picked up the phone was like, well, we were just ringing to check on you because by that point, you know, you were over the 10 weeks, which is when you're allowed to take these tablets, and you were over the 10 weeks, and we were just worried that you would have lost a lot more blood and stuff, and it would have been a lot more kind of painful and stuff. But by that point, you know, it was already done. Like, I'd already done it, been through it all, and that was it. I remember asking her on the phone, like, am I going to still be able to have more children? Because I thought that, like, I would have ruined the chances of that because I didn't know what I was doing. I'd taken it too late or whatever, and she was like, no, everything's going to be fine, don't worry. And that's kind of where that phone call ended. So after that the phone call to the nurse, I didn't have any contact. No one rang me or anything to check if I was alright. Like, that was it. I just kind of had to deal with it on my own from then. So during my whole pregnancy, I kept it so quiet in the house, as in when I was feeling sick or I would go to throw up. Like, no one knew. I don't know how I got away with it. I just did a really good job of hiding it. And that was kind of the same with those kind of 3 days. My mum's a nurse, so she was obviously working. I think she just thought I was having kind of like a couple of off days, and not wanting to come out of my room and stuff. Me and my sister aren't close anyway, so it's not like she even noticed. She's just in her room and I'm in mine. But it was on the 3rd day, or I can't remember how many days, that I'd come out of my room and I've gone to the shop or wherever I've gone, and I've come back and I went to sit on the sofa with my mum, and she looked me in the eyes and she was like, she started crying. She was like, you've had an abortion, haven't you? And all that time I just wanted to tell her, but it was almost like I was waiting for her to say, this is what you're going through, because she's so good at reading my mind. She's so good, and I was just kind of waiting for her to, you're pregnant, or say something like that. Do you know what I mean? And I just burst into tears, and she was really, really amazing, to be fair. She obviously had gone into my room and just seen the pools of blood and stuff, so I think that's how she found out. But she was just so mortified in herself that she hadn't come to me and asked if I was alright. She knew I was going through something, but she thought it was kind of relationship stuff. That's why I was being up and down. But yeah. she kind of kicks herself about it. She didn't come to me, but it wasn't her fault at all. How would she have known? So it got to October time, that same year, and I was just scrolling through the internet as you do. I was kind of searching about kind of abortions and people's experiences and stuff like that. And I'd never been kind of given any support or aftercare sort of thing. So yeah, most of my friends that had had abortions, a few of them, they kind of bounced back into normal lives. So I felt very alone, that I was having all of these emotions, and I felt like I shouldn't be having them, because it felt a lot of guilt and shame. But I found Rachel's Vineyard, and I remember the first phone call when I phoned Rachel, who's the organiser. I just felt like the right thing to do. It felt like God was calling me to do it. I wasn't scared or anything of doing it, and when I'd done it, I just felt this massive relief. Although the pain doesn't go away, it was nice to know that there was others who felt the same, who had gone through the same traumatic experiences and stuff like that. So yeah. So what I would say to myself back then, I just wish I knew everything that I know now back then. I would tell that poor girl to leave that guy straight away. You know, I wouldn't question whether I was going to keep the child or not. It's not a natural thing. I think every woman's got that motherly instinct to want to look after and to, do you know what I mean, careful for what's theirs. So if there was any woman or man, whoever, that was going through similar or has been through similar, do you know what I mean, or is pro-choice, just to really think about it. That is not just a group of cells, it is actually a baby, because I've seen it. It's not what they tell you it is. It is a life.